Hi, I'm Jay, and we are at the West Egg Lounge, and this is my NSM Digital Thunder Jukebox. It's plays CDs for circa about 1995, and we got a little problem with it. We'll show you what's up. All right, so we got some numbers here that aren't really working too well. Check that out. That one does, but yeah, so we got to rebuild our keypad. It's pretty easy to do. It's generally considered routine maintenance on these things. It's shouldn't be that difficult. Let's give it a shot. So first thing, you got to come to the side of the jukebox. Open the door with the key right here. Right, there's that, and there's a couple of screws right here and right here. We got to take out first before we do anything. All right, so we got that apart. So you see back here, this is the keypad. And it's supposed to have a couple little tabs on there, so yours likely will, but I've had this thing apart so many times, I've just gradually over the years have lost them. So it's fine. For normal operation, it just kind of seats in there anyway. But your mileage may vary, so just a disclaimer there. Before we go any further, probably ought to shut this guy off here. So. All right, so, okay, so here's our keypad. It's already half out, so all we got to do is pull out the connector from the display board. There we go. You should be able to pull it out. So, apologize, it's a little bit dark in here, but I'm gonna have to do for now. And so we got to take this whole back plate off. This whole PCB. Need a smaller bit for our screwdriver. All right, so how this works is actually super simple. There's a couple of pegs on each button that correspond with certain spots of these springs that jump the connections between all these traces inside here. It's really pretty simple, and that's how the computer in this thing determines what buttons were pressed essentially. So what we're going to do is a lot of times what happens is these little tabs get pushed in, and it's pretty obvious that this thing has been repaired before because it's got steel. Like, it looks like almost like a paperclip chunks inside here. So we're gonna have to pull all those out and install our little parts kit here. What it is these just tiny little tapered plastic rods. They're built specifically for this. Some chap on eBay that 3D prints these. I can give you the link in the description. And yeah, fully recommend. It was only a few bucks. Let's give it a whirl. So I'm gonna take out every single one of these little pins and springs. Man, come on, get out of there. All right, so springs. All right, I got my shitty Craftsman pliers from China, so there's that. So the number came out of that one, but we can set it back in. Okay, no big deal. There's this one. Now, instead of repairing just the problem buttons, I'm going to go with all of them because I don't want to do this twice. So now with just general wear and tear, you're going to have to do this again at some point. It's really not. It's pretty much unavoidable, but we can mitigate this as much as we can, it'd be great. Because there's better things I'd rather be doing on a Friday night. So, it looks like they use for an adhesive, it's like some kind of rubbery silicone kind of garbage, basically. For something like this, is an absolutely terrible idea. Because well, essentially they bounce, and the whole point of this inside there. So the whole point of this even being here is to be rigid enough to press those springs into the traces. So it's kind of counterintuitive. Use a little drill bit to kind of get rid of all the adhesive that's in there. I happen to have one that's the appropriate size. Frankly, I don't know what size this is. I'll put it in the description later, but doesn't say on there. But I'll check my drill index in a little bit. I just picked one up that looked good, and it happened to be exactly right the first time. Well, you know, it's like I do this stuff all the time. So go from there. Yeah, I would not use a power drill for something like this because it's very easy to run right through the buttons. And at that point, you're spending more money on parts, and an even bigger problem is if you can find the parts. I don't really think that's going to be happening, so at least not easily. You might be waiting a while and searching on eBay all the time. So I'll continue to do this for a little bit. So you see, this zero is going to be a challenge. It might be kind of difficult to see, but see how that kind of bursts through that side of that there, right there. So I might have to do a little bit of I guess you could say creative engineering, trying to get that back in there. So we'll see. All right, that's all the keys. That's all the goo. So now, got a little tapered rods here. We got now the likelihood of you having to trim these is extremely high. So you want it to generally stick out about 1/16 of an inch, which is about the width of about a nickel or so. So luckily, you more than likely have one of those laying around your house, so should be able to use that as a jig. So. Yeah, so you see how that's tapered and it won't fit in there right away, but the other side will, you see, no problem. So I don't want to do that because you see all that much wiggle right there? That's too much. So I'm going to gradually trim the edge of this to make sure it seats in there without the aid of any adhesive. So, all right, so hey, look at that. Like a glove. All right. See that? Just fine. No adhesive needed. Look at that. So you press it in a little bit if you want to. But like I said before, we got to make it about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm gonna go grab a nickel real quick. Get a nickel. Want to use that as a jig of about like that. So I'm gonna just use that and clip it right off. Perfect. One down. A bunch more to go. So. Ran into a little problem here. We don't have enough to do our whole keypad. So luckily enough, I'm just gonna do the ones that I need to. And since I already pulled out all the pins for the other one, I'll just re-adhere them, even though I really don't want to. And the thing is, I don't want to wait for parts again to have this thing back together. But I am going to order a new one, or another one rather. So unfortunately, it kind of screwed me, but at least all the ones that I needed to get fixed are fixed. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these pins, some of these pins back into these guys right here. Kind of just hope for the best. It seems like a lot of slop in there, but what we're gonna do is put a little dab, just a little dab of adhesive in there. I know I'm going back against what I said I was going to, but I don't have any other choice right now. So hang on a minute, we'll get some. It's too long. There's that one. I have a whole bunch of sticky crap all over myself now, but okay. Put all our springs back in. So I accidentally glued in the clear button. Okay, all right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so crisis averted there. I almost glued that in, so. All right. Okay, so I got some of these backwards. You got the 1, 2, and 3 back, or the 1 and 3 backwards, so let's fix that real quick. Got it. Sweet. All right. All right. Took a second for me to remember exactly their orientation there, but we got her, so. All I did is had to line to make sure that screw holes lined up is all. But. Like I said before, some of these screws are missing on my particular keypad. But I'll be going here, 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 and here. But I find it's largely unnecessary to have all of them, so if you lose one, it's not a huge deal. Just make sure you got even pressure around the whole thing. All buttons have a nice satisfying bounce to them. All right, let's go put it back on the machine and see what happens. There we go. Plug this back into this display board. All right, we'll just set it in there before we screw it back in real quick. Just test it out. Power's on. So our trouble numbers were 0, 8, and 5. So 0, 8, 5. Cool. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. All right. Cool beans. I think we got her.